when we are getting to know someone or trying to figure out their character and who they really are, we do this in two different ways. Now, it's true, we gauge their trustworthiness by our own firsthand interactions with them. But we also do it by hearing what others have to say about them and observing from a distance. If someone is asking the question, "Where is God when I am struggling?" it leads me to believe that they may not have had a lot of firsthand interactions with God. And that is okay. That is why you are answering hard questions with them together. Because sometimes we need to be able to build trust through observation and others' stories. Depending on your relationship with the individual, it might be the time and place for you to share how God has been there for you. Or it may not be appropriate. You see, we need to remember that we want to keep the focus on the individual who is struggling. If they feel as if their pain or past is being overrun, they're unlikely to see that as loving. I admit, it's a really fine line to walk. Most of the time, they need space for someone to listen more than talk about their own story. You see, that does not mean that your story is not valuable. Just use wisdom to make sure it's the right time and the right amount of details of your own journey, because we want to keep the focus on them. Secondly, if it's appropriate and they're open to searching in the Bible, we can point out several places in which God didn't only talk about himself and his character, but he demonstrated his care and concern for others through his interactions with them. In this way, the person that you care for has a chance to observe from a distance and get to know how God has shown up on behalf of those who were struggling with some real tough questions. I'm going to go ahead and leave a couple of references to places in the Bible where God showed up as himself, as faithful to those who are wrestling in their own tough spots. I believe that you can help someone that you care for to keep wrestling and keep finding out who God really is by journeying into the Word. This process sets the foundation for them to be able to struggle with their own deep questions of their own heart. To begin, we're going to go to two different places within the Bible. The first would be with Elijah, and the second is David. Both of these instances show that God was very present in their life, even in a very difficult struggle, when they felt a lot, and when there was a lot of very important things going on around them. Next, we turn to some modern day examples, those who believe in Jesus and are seeking to follow him but have had to work through their own tough spots and navigate some pretty big questions in life. I'm going to go ahead and leave a couple of links to their stories in the description box so that you guys can have this comprehensive discussion of who God is, who he says he is, how God has shown up in the lives of others, how God has showed up in your own story, and how God has shown up through the Word.